Just in case you guys thought that skeletons and zombies were too dumb and slow to provide any real challenge for your player characters, don't worry. The Monster Manual has you covered. Enter the Ghoul and the Ghast, a couple of undead creatures with abyssal origins whose only desire in life is to eat your party whole. Guys, what's happening? It's Evan here from D4 Dungeon. If this is your first time here and you want to learn how to level up your D&D experience, then start now by hitting that subscribe button so that you don't miss a thing. Today we're going to be talking about ghouls and ghasts. I have a bit of a general description and a physical overview for you dungeon masters out there. Ghouls and ghasts, much like maggots and cairn crawlers, thrive in places filled with decay and death. A ghoul will haunt any place where it can gorge itself on dead flesh and decomposing organs. When a ghoul or a ghast can't feed on dead flesh, it will pursue the living and attempt to make corpses out of them. Though they gain no nourishment from the corpses that they desire, ghouls and ghasts are driven by an unending hunger that compels them to consume. A ghoul's undead flesh never rots, and this creature can persist in a tomb for untold ages without feeding. Orcus, the Prince of Undead, sometimes infuses a ghoul with a stronger dose of abyssal energy, creating a ghast. Whereas ghouls are just mindless beasts, a ghast is cunning, and can sometimes inspire a pack of ghouls to follow it and do its bidding. The advantages of the ghoul and the ghast are pretty much the same, with one small exception, which I'll talk about in a second. Ghouls and ghasts are both immune to poison and being charmed or exhausted. They also both have dark vision. They have high dexterity and strength scores in that order, and can use either their claw or bite attack. The bite attack does more damage, but the claw attack has a better chance of hitting the target and potentially paralyzing it, rendering it incapable of any actions, movement, or speech, and also granting advantage on all attacks against it. This basically turns all hits into criticals. The ghoul's claw attack doesn't have this effect on elves, but the ghast's does. Ghasts also have the turning defense feature, which grants them advantage on the saving throw against a cleric's channel divinity turn undead, not just to themselves, but also for any ghoul that's within 30 feet of them. Ghasts also have the stench feature. Any creature that starts its turn within 5 feet of a ghast must succeed on a DC 10 con saving throw or be poisoned until the start of its next turn. On a successful saving throw, the creature is immune to the ghast stench for 24 hours. The ghast's noxious stench feature also provides them some slight protection in melee combat, since a PC within range may be poisoned and therefore have disadvantage on any attacks. The disadvantages of the ghoul and ghast are pretty similar, with the exception of the ghoul's particular aversion to elves. Their insatiable hunger will drive them to ignore external threats when they're feasting on a downed or paralyzed player character. The ghoul specifically avoids any elf character that your players may be running due to a long-forgotten abyssal contract between Dorison, the first ghoul, and the elven deities. Elves are immune to the ghoul's paralytic touch, but not the ghasts. The combat and tactics for a ghoul. First of all, ghouls and ghasts have no stealth skill to speak of. They'll move in as soon as they sense the presence of prey. Being driven by instinct and compulsion, they're not daunted by being outnumbered. Ghouls and ghasts will both approach their prey by the most direct route possible. They'll begin with starting with their claw attack. Each ghoul or ghast will repeat this attack until it succeeds on paralyzing its prey. Once this happens, it will switch from its claw to its bite attack, each attack hitting with advantage and effectively becoming a critical strike. That's 4d6 plus 2 damage. It will continue to eat until its victim is either reduced to 0 hit points or makes its save for the paralyzation, in which case it will revert back to its claw attack, hoping to paralyze its prey once more. A ghoul's only desire is to feed. If it's attacked by another player character while it's feeding, it will attempt to flee, dragging the downed character with it. Since the victim is incapacitated, not simply grappled, there's nothing to stop the ghoul from using its full movement speed. These creatures, however, cannot resist the temptation to feed. It's more likely, in my opinion, to move its move action away from its attacker, dragging the victim with it, and then taking another bite attack on it. This cycle will usually repeat until the ghoul or ghast is either reduced to around 10 hit points, in which case it'll use its actions to dash away, dropping its meal, or until it's destroyed outright. The more intelligent ghast is only slightly more sophisticated, and it doesn't exempt elves from its definition of prey. If it's accompanied by a pack of ghouls, it will direct them to single out certain PCs and gang up on them. The ghast, meanwhile, will instead go after the strongest PC himself, being best equipped to do so, not just because of his strength and armor class, but also because of his stench feature. The ghouls will always remain within 30 feet of the ghast in order to benefit from its turning defense special feature, except for when one of them is trying to abscond with a downed player character. If a ghast is being attacked from range while it's feeding, it may get annoyed enough to go after whoever's attacking it, depending on the situation. To sum these creatures up, ghouls and ghasts are a lot more put together than your run-of-the-mill undead. They're not stealthy at all, and they're more than willing to stand up and slug it out with your PCs. Their only desire is to eat you, and they may even stop attacking once they have a meal in front of them. A group of ghouls with one or more ghasts with them can be a real challenge for low-level parties, especially if your cleric's turn undead fails and your fighters are all retching their guts out and attacking at disadvantage from the smells emanating off the ghasts. Their paralyzing claw attack can be a real tide turner in battle and leave more than one of your player characters with a bite out of its neck. Given the right atmosphere, these creatures can be terrifying to roleplay. I hope you guys were able to learn something today about ghouls and ghasts, and maybe about how to run an exciting encounter for both you and your player characters. Remember, if you want to learn more about playing or DMing your own Dungeons & Dragons games, and all kinds of other Dungeons & Dragons related stuff, then start now by hitting that subscribe button so that you don't miss a thing. Thanks for watching the video, and I'll see you all next Monster Monday.